Jacob Fatu turns babyface. I hate you, Solo Sikoa. Naomi and Seth Rollins win the Money in the Bank briefcases. And in the most over spot of the night, Mr. Iguana. It's Mr. Iguana. He's got an iguana puppet. Oh, and R-Truth returns to WWE, cost John Cena in the main event, and appears to have re-signed in a huge pivot by the company amidst fan and roster backlash at the decision to cut him. I'm Ollie Davis. A big thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring this video, more on them in a bit, and this is my review of Money in the Bank 2025 in about 10 minutes.
Support WrestleTalk!
This episode of Saturday Night Raw with 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches was a show of anniversaries. The Intuit Dome in LA was where Raw made its debut on Netflix. LA was where the Money in the Bank stipulation debuted at WrestleMania 2 decades ago. The date also marked 28 years since Michael Cole made his WWE debut. And, of course, most importantly of all, the first WWE appearance of Mr. Iguana. It's Mr. Iguana. He's got an iguana. But before that, the show opened with NXT's Women's Division Money in the Bank ladder match, which saw new but also actually quite established main roster call-ups Julia, Stephanie Vaquer and Roxanne Perez take on Naomi, Alexa Bliss and Rhea Ripley. The action was good with several fun character spots, like Ripley emerging from a pile of ladders to get revenge on Perez, but I struggled to buy into the interpersonal relations. Unlike the men's ladder match, which had the drama of Jacob Fatu turning on Solo Sikoa and the stakes of Seth controlling Raw if he won the briefcase, the women's match for me felt more superficial. While Perez and Julia have been fantastic in NXT, they've not had consistent characters since WrestleMania, so I can never really fully get into them working together again, or when Roxanne inevitably turned on her one-time tag partner. Just like the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber matches though, I did think Perez was the standout again, with the main character energy of targeting Ripley, betraying Julia, and hitting a code red on a ladder bridge. The loudest received spot of the match, however, goes to Vaquer's Devil's Kiss leg buffs on the ladder on Rhea. It came down to the veterans in the final moments as Bliss and Rhea fought in the ring, but there was another veteran waiting for her chance. Naomi, who pushed them both off the ladder to unhook the briefcase herself, setting up a neat title picture on SmackDown with Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. The Kingo was then shown with the AAA Mega Championship in the crowd, having beaten Chad Gable at Worlds Collide earlier in the day. Don't worry, that shot was geo-blocked in Mexico. There were some other AAA stars like the legendary Dr. Wagner Jr., but never mind that bollocks, because then Mr. Iguana got the biggest pop of the night just by being shown on screen. It's Mr. Iguana! He's got an iguana! Worlds Collide had set up an impromptu match for Money in the Bank when Dominik Mysterio had an angle with Octagon Jr. for being a fan of his dad. Liv Morgan was at ringside, but she barely interfered as Dom was portrayed as a far more credible wrestler, easily retaining the IC title. Now here's a message from this video's sponsor. War Thunder is one of the best, most comprehensive vehicular warfare games ever made. Take command of 2,500 different vehicles, ranging from 1920s biplanes to modern fighters and tanks in epic PvP battles with over 70 million total players. War Thunder is incredibly immersive, with realistic graphics, authentic sound, and fantastically detailed vehicles, making you feel truly a part of the action and the most powerful war machines of our time. There are game modes to suit every type of player, whether you're into more arcade-style battles or realistic simulator mode. There is even an all-new mobile version so you can keep playing on the go. My personal favourite thing about War Thunder, aside from the name sounding like my new favourite wrestler, is the insane level of customization, which really makes each vehicle feel like it's truly your own. War Thunder is available for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox and mobile. If you're a new player or someone who hasn't played in the last 6 months on PC and consoles, then you can use our link below to get a massive bonus pack that includes the exclusive vehicle decorator, Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium account access. This is a limited time bonus, so make sure to jump into War Thunder now. After a good video package recapping their NXT title match 2, Becky Lynch vs Lyra Valkyria had trilogy conclusion energy. While the start to their feud post-Mania was clunky and rushed, their in-ring work at Backlash was fantastic, and they were every bit as good here. Take note Cody Rhodes, the grudge match action started right away, as the babyface Lyra jumped heel Becky during the ring introductions. They were constantly back and forth in a realistic blend of aggression and messiness. Lyra hit a leg drop off the table onto Becky draped over the barricade outside. Becky hit a second rope manhandle slam. Lyra hit a Nightwing on the outside, and they both just got back in to beat the count. They were seemingly perfectly matched, apart from one trait. Becky was willing to cheat. In a roll-up exchange, Lynch held Lyra's tights to get the pin. As per the stipulation, Lyra had to raise Becky's hand in victory afterwards, but Lynch wanted her to put the title round her waist too. Lyra decided that this respect was too much, so she hit a German suplex and a Nightwing to leave Becky laying, potentially building a rematch for Evolution 2. Sometimes you get branded integrations so perfectly matched it's impossible to be angry. Of course WWE's PLE Money in the Bank should be sponsored by the Cash App. It's like a hardcore match being sponsored by Pornhub. But Dave Meltzer described WWE's business model on a recent episode of Wrestling Observer Radio. If there's blank space on screen, TKO wants to monetize it. TKO's business is to sell sponsorships. That's their real priority now. We've already got sponsored matches, sponsored segments, they'll put logos anywhere. They're trying to turn every frame of WWE content into an ad vehicle. If they could sell sponsorship for the pyro, they would. More Dave Meltzer lies and fake news. WWE aren't going to sell sponsorship for the pyro. That's ridiculous. They're going to do it for the ladders. Because for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, the best ladder to use was the Fireball Whiskey branded ladder. It even got its own backstage segment with the Creeds to introduce it. Ahead of the men's match though, we got a fun video package recapping the stipulation's history and stats, and Wade Barrett ran through every competitor and their chances. Seth and Solo have their own factions that could get involved. El Grande Americano is a Mexican wrestling legend. LA Knight has the whole crowd behind him. Penta is still taking the WWE universe by storm. And Andrade. Sorry, Andrade, I'm just kidding. Actually, none of them have a chance apart from Seth. But even with that very predictable outcome, which fantasy booking-wise you'd expect gets cashed in after Jey Uso's successful title defense against Gunther on Monday's Raw, this match had a great mix of drama and high spots. There was Solo Sikoa's naturally fantastic comedic instincts, where he did everyone else's pose at them throughout the match. There was El Grande Americano being the standout in the ring for me, including the show's best spot, him running up a ladder on the ring post outside, swashbuckling across onto another ladder, onto the main ladder to take out Penta. And there was heel faction warfare, when the Bronze took on the Bloodline. But with everyone taken out, Fatu let Solo climb the ladder to then finally yell, "I hate you," pull him down and superkick him in the face, turning babyface against his Bloodline leader. Seth was then able to climb the ladder and unhook the briefcase. I guess Sami Zayn didn't care enough about stopping Seth to actually show up at the event. Triple H asked us if we're ready to double down for WrestleMania 42, not New Orleans, and then Panic booked an episode of Raw against declining ratings, announcing the King and Queen of the Ring tournament matches beginning, and Nikki Bella making her return. And with 30 minutes left for what really should have been a TV main event, we got John Cena and Logan Paul tagging against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, where Cody was finally in the ring against Cena after John cheated to beat him at WrestleMania. Cena dodged him early, tagging in Logan, but then ended up in the ring for Cody to finally get his long-awaited revenge with a headlock. What a vicious blood feud over the fate of all of professional wrestling. The match was one long working over of Jey, giving him more damage going into the Gunther match on Monday, where Cena and Logan cut him off, tagging Cody for 12 minutes. Jey didn't even earn the hot tag himself in the end, making the 12 minutes feel kind of pointless. Logan and Cena argued over John's constant blind tags, letting Jey tagging Cody. From then on, it was an awesome 10 minutes of non-stop action. AAs, spears, crossroads, near falls, one botched buckshot lariat from Logan Paul. Ha, Logan Paul, you're not a perfect in-ring wrestler. We can finally all hate on you properly. God damn, he just nailed that acai moonsault to the outside. Logan actually got all the best spots, including that accidentally wiping out Cena and having Cody superplex him while he was filming himself, all from the POV of Paul's own camera. And then came the finish. Cena used the championship belt on Cody again. He was about to ruin wrestling when a man in a black hoodie ran in and took Cena out with the title instead, who revealed himself to be a returning R-Truth. Hopefully this now starts a story where Truth doesn't realise he's actually been let go by the company. Cody pinned John Cena, and it wasn't just the babyfaces that stood tall, it was WWE for realising not renewing Truth's contract was a mistake, listening to the fans and roster and bringing him back in some way. But what way, you might ask? And what really went on behind the scenes? Well, if you ask Triple H, it was all part of the plan, all part of the show. I'm a genius. My beard is full of long-term feuds. A USA Today reporter asked Paul Levesque at the post-show conference if Truth was actually released from WWE last week and how much the fans played a part in him seemingly coming back, to which Levesque replied, "I love the question. Did you enjoy the show? All part of the show, man." Not so, according to R-Truth himself, who replied to a tweet calling his run-in one of the greatest moments in history, not just WWE history by the way, but all history, that tweet says, presumably ranking it alongside the end of World War II, the signing of the Magna Carta and the discovery of penicillin, and that we all got worked. To which Truth replied, "No work." A banner then appeared on WWE's official shop of a new t-shirt design for Truth, but under his non-WWE name of Wrong Killings. PW Insider then reported, R-Truth is indeed back and will be going under the Wrong Killings name going forward, at least initially. He was in discussions with several promoters about appearances and independent bookings several days ago, so the decision to bring him back happened over the last 72 hours. And then Fightful Select added, R-Truth is back with WWE before he ever technically left, and no, it's not a work. Apparently, Truth's pre-existing contract had not yet expired, but last weekend he was notified by WWE that they wouldn't be offering him a new one. Fightful sources now claim he does have a new deal under Ron R-Truth Killings, which Truth's own son posted on his Instagram. "Congrats on the new deal, Dad! Last run!" Fightful notes that Truth had been flooded with phone calls and messages about his WWE departure over the last week, and seemed shocked and kind of disgusted, as we all were. Because it wasn't just WWE getting rid of Truth. It was the nature in how they treated a 17-year-long veteran of the company, reportedly being told by a talent relations employee over the phone in a very cold and impersonal way, instead of someone like Levesque breaking the news personally. Fightful continue that Killings actually ignored many of WWE's approaches during the week, until Nick Khan took over and called Killings to work out a new deal. We're told that the deal was a meeting halfway situation. One WWE veteran told SRS that Levesque isn't happy with the way this has gone down, quoting them saying, "I can tell Hunter doesn't like it. He doesn't like the fans hijacking creative." But unhappy or not, WWE made a smart decision, winning back a lot of fan and roster support. Money in the Bank 2025 is a 3.5 out of 5 show. Make sure you're subscribed because Luke and I will have our full podcast review of Money in the Bank on this very channel soon. And please support us by checking out this video's sponsor, War Thunder.
Thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Make sure you grab your bonus pack if you are a new player or one that hasn't played in more than 6 months on PC and consoles today using our link below.